Hello and welcome back! Today I'm going to be talking about the Leaf65, which is a new board by Fox Lab, who has run numerous other keyboard group buys such as the Leaf 10 keyless, Leaf 60, Key 65, and Time 80. The Leaf 65 will actually be available for group buy during the first week of April, which is coming up in a few days. The Leaf 65 comes in a box padded with foam. I do like the vertically packaged boxes because each component is secured in their own compartment and it's easy to access specific pieces. Something I want to mention is that the foam material, or the way the foam is cut, will leave a black residue on your parts. Your box and parts will come wrapped in plastic, and I recommend keeping the parts in the plastic when storing the board. The kit also comes with a PCB and mute foam for your plate and your case, and this proto actually came with 2 plates in both aluminum and FR4 material. And finally, the Leaf 65. There are actually extra baggies with the USB-C daughter board and JST connector and gasket pieces for the mounting, which I didn't see when initially unboxing. The PCB and plate looks like it supports some pretty standard layouts for 65 boards at this time. I did build this board on stream at twitch.tv/Mentorly, so be sure to follow me there if you like to come watch boards like this built live, or even just to come and hang out. I'm actually planning a mental health charity event to support I Don't Mind and Mental Health America, an org that I really believe in because of their approach to mental health support and destigmatization. The event will happen on the weekend of April 2nd, which is coming up in a week, and it will be a charity silent auction as well as a charity live stream. All of the information is available on my site, mentorlystudios.com/idon'tmind, if you want to find out more about the event. One of the highlight features of the Leaf 65 is the case design. The whole design of the Leaf 65 revolves around a 3-piece case design, which allows for the middle piece to peek through at the seams, which I personally think is really pretty. This design also allows for an entirely screwless aesthetic, which is another feature I really enjoy. I think screwless case designs are really beautiful. It allows for an overall cleaner look. The way the Leaf 65 case design works is that the middle and top piece creates a sandwich Poron mount where the plate is sandwiched between the gaskets placed along the case. You place the Poron gasket pieces that are included with the kit in the grooves of the case that are cut to specifically fit the Poron pieces. This method is pretty similar in any gasket mount build that you'll see. The Poron included with this kit is a pretty squishy composition compared to other gasket foams that I've worked with, so it does allow for a bit of cushioning when you bottom out. Some keyboards will use stiffer foam or even rubber strips for gasket mount, but I found that designers who are going for a softer typing experience tend to offer Poron. The wings of the plate align with the cutouts, so you can just drop your completed build right into the cutouts of the case. The fit of the build is not very tight, so there's a bit of wiggle room for the alignment of the build. Because of the gaskets on the side and the fact that the gaskets don't clamp down very tightly on the plate, it does allow for you to adjust your build after you screw everything together. You can use a keycap placed strategically near the corners of your build to check if maybe the keycap will rub on the edge. Once the top frame and middle frame are screwed together, you can access the mounting points of the middle frame through holes in the plate, and the build can be secured to the bottom piece at these mounting points. Once your keycaps are placed, the screws for the case can be accessed by pulling off just the caps necessary to expose your screw holes. All the screws are contained in the inside of the board, which allows for an entirely seamless case design. The middle piece of this build doesn't necessarily need to be exposed on the outside of the case, but Fox Lab decided to play with a bolder aesthetic and used some curves to expose the middle case piece, which allows for more colors to be used for playful accent colors. The top, middle, and bottom case pieces will be offered in 10 different colors. For anodization, the colors available are black, silver, dark green, light green, space cadet, and red. For e-coating, the colors available are white and beige. For powder coating, it will be offered in pink. And for polycarbonate, it will be a matte finished polycarbonate. The plate, badge, and weight color will all be the same, and it will also be offered in alu in the same color options as the case. The plate will also be available in FR4, which is the material used in this personal build for center. The plate, badge, weight, and middle frame can also be upgraded to PVD brass in a beautiful silver color, just like in this photo of the prototype that's posted on the IC page. I love PVD brass, so I'm really excited for this option. There are a few renders on the Leaf65 interest check page which showcase a lot of beautiful different color combinations that can be achieved with a variety of colors. I love that green is being offered here. Like I mentioned earlier, the Leaf65 also has a really fun play on curves from the edges and chamfer of the board to the side profile, which features the curve of the side seams and the bottom grip, to the back of the board, which has a small curve around the USB port and emphasis on the curves with the Leaf65 logo. I really enjoyed the aesthetic of the bottom of the case because I think the curves of the grip have a really strong visual effect and the shape is just really pretty. One thing that I dislike about the Leaf65 is how narrow the back of the case is and how carefully the USB-C daughter board needs to be aligned. You have to double check that the daughter board is not protruding from the case since the space is so narrow and it's really easy for the part to move out of place when screwing it down. I would prefer if the USB-C was a bit more recessed for a little protection. A more recessed hole also helps hide a bit of the exposed ends of the cable that you're plugging in. Typically, no one is really looking carefully at the back of their keyboard anyways, so this is only noticed if you're taking top-down shots of your keyboard or taking a glance from the side profile, but I just feel that having a bit more recessed port would just be a little nicer. The mounting style of the Leaf65 is called a Poron sandwich mount. Most of the work is done by the Poron gasket strips that are part of the case, and there's also an additional mute piece made out of Poron, which I would consider case foam. There's also an additional mute plate piece, which I would consider plate foam, and this piece is optional to complete the build. The Poron sandwich mount leads to a pretty cushioned bottom out feeling. For my current board, I use a tight gasket O-ring mounted brass plate build, and I can feel each keystroke bite back at me with each bottom out, which I love, so no complaints there. But with the bottom out feeling of the Leaf, there is definitely less noticeable bounce back, and the energy from the force of typing is absorbed by the foam. I also type pretty aggressively, so it's really easy for me to notice a difference. If you're not one to smash on your keyboard when typing, you might not notice a difference as obviously. There is also a lot of flex that is very noticeable if you press down on the plate with a stronger, evenly applied force. I feel that the case foam doesn't really do much in terms of cushioning since most of the energy is absorbed by the gaskets around the plate, but it does isolate the sound so that any echoing in the cavity of the case is greatly reduced. I find that this build really highlights the sound of the keycaps, switches, and plate without having much reverb to change the sound of the parts used. Overall, it leads to a very gentle, rounded, and I like to describe as a talky sound. Here's a quick sound test of the Leaf65 built with the FR4 plate, Poron sandwich mount and mute plate foam, and vintage blacks lubed with 3204. The keycaps are GMK cherry profile keycaps. I really enjoy the Leaf65 aesthetic and build design, and I'm really intrigued to see what kind of sound profiles people can get out of this board with such an isolated and cushioned build. I'm not the best person to give opinions of if a linear sounds nice or not, so I can't really tell if these Vint Blacks sound better than they normally do. That being said, I think the board does sound really nice and has a very soft, crisp, and clean sound, but not too high-pitched, and it goes very well with the strong and clean aesthetic design. Fox Lab has an IC page for the Leaf65, which has all of the information about this build, and again, the Leaf65 is scheduled to have a group buy in the first week of April, which is coming up soon, so I'll leave a link for that in the description below if you're interested in keeping up to date with this project. Fox Lab also has an Instagram page, which I'll also leave a link for you if you want to see more posts about this board. Thanks for watching this Leaf65 showcase. That's all I got for now. Please take care of yourself, and I hope to see you next time.
Or on stream.